Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Weekly Challenges Guide. And for those that are maybe watching this for the first time and haven't seen it before, the weekly challenges are a set of 5 races that usually appear Thursday morning, Thursday night for those, or Friday night for those on the other side of the region. And 4 of those races can usually be found within the game, while the 5th one is one specifically made for that week. And the purpose of these guides is to give you an overview of what is in these races, the cars being used, the tracks they're being used on, as well as the lap counts and whether there's special things like a specific tire you need. So let's get into it, beginning with the European Sunday Cup 400. Obviously the 400 performance points, suggestion. 3 laps around Brands Hatch Indy circuit using a road car from Europe. So if your car comes from one of those countries listed there, you should be good to go. Now you don't have to stick to the 400 DP, it's more of a suggestion than anything. No penalties here. So the car I'm going to use is something that I haven't really driven at all and kind of only just remembered I had it, so I figured why not. And that's this Ferrari 500 Mondial, usually found in a legendary car dealership. Unfortunately not right there right now, but something you can use if you want. And as for any tips for this particular race track, wide entry and exit. Brands Hatch Indy circuit tends to have a lot of these corners, so it really helps to widen that entry and exit when you do this. And beware the AI over braking. As per usual in these beginning races, AI tend to overdo it on the brakes. Next, the Japanese Clubman 550 and let's see, 50 performance points, number of laps 3, Fuji International Speedway, requiring a road car that can be professionally tuned from Japan. So as long as you have a car that meets those, you should be good enough to go. No penalties of any kind here. And so the car I'm going to use, another one I don't have much miles on, and that's this Supra here. A little Robotech livery Supra I have. If you see the video, you probably won't be familiar with that. Anyhow, tips and tricks for this particular track. Beware of the AI in turn 3. Of all the corners, this is the one where they brake the most, both at the beginning and throughout. So if you're going for those big sweeping runs like I usually do, be mindful as they'll start to the inside, but they'll push right out. And be smooth through turns 5 through 9, as depending on the car you have, it'll be tricky to put down the power and with how tight those corners are. So be mindful of all that. Next, World Touring Car 600. It's a 5-lap race at Autodromo de Interlagos, home of the Brazilian Grand Prix. 600 performance points or less, so this is a hard cap here. You cannot go above that. No penalties, and pretty much cars can be from any country or whatever, just as long as they meet that. So the car I'm going to use is yet another one I don't have any miles on, and that is this Lexus LFA, another car I forgot I had. Now I did try to sneak on some racing cars, as you can see here, but the game didn't allow that. That was not happening, unfortunately. Anyhow, tips for this particular race there, use the curbs if you can. If you got a car that can take the curbs, take advantage of them. They're smooth, they tend to be very low, so there's no risk of flying over or whatever. Now if your car doesn't like the curbs, then avoid them. And be mindful of the brakes there. A lot of hard braking areas, especially towards the end. So be mindful of those areas. Next, we have the Porsche Cup. And this is a 5-lap race around the circuit de Spa-Francorchamps with a 650 performance points or less, and a model has to be from Porsche. So if you know me and if you've watched these, you know what that means. The good old cup car build comes right back out once again. So obviously if you need a tune there, this is one that I've done, works for me, it's not special, but it gets the job done. And as for any particular tips for this race or this track, beware of the AI at El Rouge. The AI brake very hard there, so if you're going to set up passes, I would say keep back at least 3 to 4 car lengths That way, you can make up a lot of time on them as you exit. Smooth braking, a wide entry depending on your tune. Some cars like being brake and turned, some not so much, so just be mindful of that. And now for the special event, the F3500 one make. This is a 15 lap race around high speed ring with 2 times fuel use and 2 times tire wear using Indy tires here. And this features the F3500A, a car added in the latest update. So we only have a shortcut penalty, which is bizarre, but okay. And of course, what else? The F3500A being the only car you can use. Obviously I used it on default since it was the first time for me. And now that I've done that, I can tell you what tips can go to when you do this. My fully custom transmission. This has a lot of drafting, so that default gearbox isn't going to be all that helpful without it hits the limit pretty quickly. Shift to 5th in turn 2 and power out on exit. You can gain some time doing this. Enter very wide while you do so. Mind the power exiting 3 and 4. This car is very wheel spin happy if you are not careful with how you deliver the power. And of course, as you can see, slight lift in the final corner. And the reason being is that if you do that, you can carry a whole lot of speed and pass cars in that corner. Very efficient, and if you can catch the back of the car for drafting, even better. So, that's it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it, whether you've just returned to the game or whether you've woken up to these races. If you like this, then give this video a like, and if you want to see more, subscribe, as I will be making more of these videos throughout the year. That is it for me, and I will see you guys in the next video.